Public schools and your guns, they want to know where they're at. We're going to talk to Joe about it next.
But first, a lot of companies are frustrated with their website. It looks old, it's hard to update, and it's just not generating enough leads. Well, Sage Tree gets it. Since 2005, Sage Tree has been helping companies with websites that look great, work great, and get leads. Stop being embarrassed by your website and get one that you're proud of to share. Contact Sage Tree today. Go to their website that makes the phone ring. Getting started is real easy. Go to sagetree.com and schedule a call. Go to sagetree.com and press the schedule a call button. All right, Joe, what do you got for us today?
Well, I got another great idea, another great constitutionally sound idea from Sacramento. So we have SB 906, which is it's got a cool name too. It's the School Safety, Mass Casualty Threats, and Firearm Disclosure Bill. Oh. And we talked about this last week with we had a school board member from Coronado.
Yeah, Esther Clayton.
Esther Clayton, that's right. So and I'd heard about this a couple of weeks ago. It was interesting to talk to her about it. And I've been wanting to write about it. I just didn't get around to it till now. But what this bill is essentially is it wants to make a change to the ed code in California to require parents to have to disclose to the schools their firearms ownership, I guess, status. So do they own firearms? If so, where do they store them? How do they store them? That kind of stuff. That's what the bill wants to do. And this bill is brought to you by State Senator Anthony Portantino. He's an L.A. area senator from, District 25, I guess, is Hollywood and that area up there. And
started out in a city council, by the way.
Yes, and he's a Democrat senator. He's a gun control supporter. He stands for sensible gun control. He was instrumental in banning open carry in California and then raising the required age to 21 to buy firearms. So, probably not a Second Amendment guy, although I would imagine he says he is. But, the bill is interesting because, Esther talked about it last week. And, it requires parents to have to disclose to the schools about information about their firearms ownership. But if you read more into it, if you read the text, and I linked to it in the article, which I'll publish either tonight or tomorrow morning. The article's finished. I just haven't put it up yet. But what they want to do is they want to require school districts to include a box on the enrollment form that the parent's supposed to check, indicating whether or not they own guns. And so you want to have that on there. And then the other thing they're requiring the schools to do is to put out an annual notification to parents about the safe storage laws and the dangers, I guess, to not storing your guns correctly. And it's interesting because it's another. I mean, there's already a million ways to do that. Everybody's concerned about trying to do something to stop school shootings and this and that. And realistically, there's a ton of laws on the books. The other realistic thing is, yes, as tragic as those things are when they happen, there's no way to stop all of that stuff. And they seem like they happen a lot, but realistically, if you keep it in context and you think about the number of adults and the number of children that are in schools every day all across this country, and then compare that to the number of unfortunate, incidents like that where someone gets shot, it's really not as prevalent as you would think it is. And we already do a pretty good job of, doing things to stop that. This law would do nothing to do that. What this law does is open up another opportunity for abuse, basically, is what it is. It's another way to intimidate parents. If you're a parent, we saw a lot of this over the last 2 years. I think one of the consequences of the COVID stuff that went on for the last 2 years is parents actually got to see what was going on in schools. I think prior to that, a lot of people are working, a lot of households, both parents work, and they're not really right on top of exactly what's happening at school. With COVID, it forced a lot of parents to be working from home. It forced the kids to be going to school from home. And I think parents were starting to overhear what's actually going on in schools. And a lot of parents didn't agree with that. And we saw that with all the issues at all the school board meetings all across the country last year, especially in Virginia, but it was happening in a lot of places where parents were going and they were speaking up about these policies. And what they ran into was very defensive, very resistant school board members. And there was even a point where the DOJ and the Attorney General for the current administration was being urged to declare these parents domestic terrorists, and they were threatening them with the FBI. And I think they actually did have the FBI start to look into things like that. And this is the environment that we're in nowadays. And by disclosing gun ownership, that's just another way to intimidate, to quiet down parents like that may disagree with you. Because if you look at some of the things here with disclosing the gun ownership, I mean, there's really no reason for the schools to have that information. And a parent, owning a firearm is no more, a threat than a person who owns an automobile being a threat as a drunk driver. It makes no sense at all. And if you read the bill, the other thing that's really scary or frightening, and I urge everybody to read the bill. It's not that long, and I linked to it in the article. But when you see what they, the bar that they set for something being what do they call it? A reasonable suspicion of a threat. It's a really low bar. And anybody from the janitor to a teacher's aide to a principal to a superintendent to a board member can feel threatened and start this process where, they're required to bring in law enforcement and do those things. The image of a firearm. If a kid, say a 13 or 14-year-old happened to have a copy of his dad's Guns and Ammo magazine in his backpack because he was reading it and he forgot about it. Somebody sees that could be interpreted as reasonable suspicion of a threat, under this. And it's just, I don't know, it's silly. And one of the things that I looked at too in the article, or one of the questions I asked is, how do we get to this situation where you have absurd laws like this, that this isn't unusual. This is a routine, normal law probably that would get proposed out here and, or anywhere really around the country. And, you have to question, how do we get to that point in our society where this kind of stuff happens all the time? And, and then what can you do about it now? Because, this law is being proposed, and if it gets passed and signed into law, it'll take effect in January of 2023. And there's really nothing to stop it from getting passed. I mean, there's really not going to be any resistance, in the Assembly or in the Senate up there in Sacramento. Governor Newsom signs just about all this kind of stuff. So there's really nothing stopping this. So what do you do with that? It's and kind of probably upset some people, but you have to look at, okay, why are we in this situation? And gun owners have to, claim a lot of this responsibility because we've let it happen over the last, especially if you're a 30 or 40-year gun owner, because we've let the other side basically control the narrative, and we've let them generate, this information or demonize, gun owners and guns and things, to the point where, people that aren't gun owners look at this and say, yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, we should do that. And that's what you got now. Now it's an uphill battle to kind of correct this. So hopefully people won't comply. It's not clear what the penalties of non-compliance would be. It's probably going to depend on how the districts implement this stuff. But hopefully people will find ways to not comply. And, if they can't do that, get their kids out of the schools, do something else.
There you go.
But anyway, you'll be able to find that. I'll put it on our San Diego County Gun Owners website tonight or tomorrow. It'll be on the getagrip.substack.com site as well. So take a look at it and form an opinion.
Thanks for watching this clip from Gun Owners Radio. You can watch us live every Sunday from 4 to 6 p.m. California time, right here on our YouTube channel. Or if you're in the San Diego area, you can listen to us on 1170 a.m. We're also available on your favorite podcast platform for free. Don't forget to like and subscribe so that you can help restore and protect the Second Amendment, not just in California, but across the country.